Welcome your new Izzet Overlords. All right, Standard's coming up. We got the regional championship happening this weekend in Minneapolis, where I'll be doing coverage. I'll be in the booth, so make sure you tune in and watch that one. And of course, I'm not playing, obviously. But we're going over all the top decks in the format over the course of this stream and then the week on YouTube as we prep for the event. So a little more serious gym today. No Waka Waka. We're playing stock, good, excellent decks, the best decks in the format, the decks you need to play or be able to beat to do well in your standard events, to do well in your RC, or to do well on the arena ladder, which is just about to reset. So this is the new number one deck in the format. I didn't think that Dragonstorm would have that big of an impact in the format, and I was wrong. Cori-steel cutter is the breakout card from the set, obviously, fueling this Izzet Prowess deck, which has a lot of cards you're used to. You know, Monstrous Rage, Burst Lightning, Swift Spear, Slick Shot, Show Off coming back into vogue here, and then yeah, just cantrips, stock up, a couple bounce spells, Storm Chaser's Talent, and just an aggressive version of a Prowess deck. Which is pretty cool. I do love Prowess decks. And this is currently the top deck in the format. This is the most played deck at Bologna, the European RC last weekend. I believe it was 17% of the field, whereas the next highest deck was about 11% of the field. And it did pretty well, too. It came in first, third, and fourth, I believe. And I don't think the deck is that dominating or broken, but it is clearly very, very good and currently the level 0 deck of the tournament. So we're going to play it and see if it holds up. And then I think the goal for this tournament coming up is going to be to try and beat this deck or to find the best version of it. And that's going to be the narrative of the event. So that's the deck we're playing. So let's get right to the games. Brought to you by
Cool Stuff Inc. is proud to sponsor Jim Davis. We offer great deals on card games and more. Get a free token featuring Jim Davis and take 5% off your next order if you use the code JIM5 at checkout. CoolStuffInc.com. Cool stuff in stock.
Let's do this. All right, we're in. Chat coming out with me. Chat asks, does the schedule change every week? Yes. My schedule is, I'm usually on stream during the weekdays, but it is different week to week. That's why I post a schedule every single week on Twitter, on Blue Sky, in my Discord, and then on Twitch. You can also view the thing there. Even if you don't have Twitter or Blue Sky, you can still just go to my Twitter and view the schedule. You don't need to have an account or anything. But there's a schedule you can see. Usually I'm on during the week, during the day, but that has changed, obviously, with my travel schedule and everything else. Busy all the time. So it does change, but be aware of that, and so on and so forth. We got a pretty good hand here. We got one drop, Steel Cutter, stock up. Looks kind of nice. Mana Bird Dream resub, thanks so much. Also, Elvish Warrior. If you're watching on YouTube, take a second, leave a like, sub the content, support the channel. If you like what I'm doing here, I've been doing better lately, which is great. Able to do more content and stream more, which is awesome, and I'm very, very happy to be back in the saddle. Not me, I would never burn in the countryside. Attack for 1. Opponent goes Fable Passage Mountain, which is an odd start for the standard format. They play a Gloom Lake Verge. All right, so they're playing a Grixis version of the Cutter deck, which is cool. Now, yeah, we're going to rock the Cutter here. You do want to get value off Cutter. It is a little scary to play Cutter and not get immediate value off it because they're playing a Braid. The format's obviously, adapting to Cutter. Week 1, Cutter's cool. People don't know that, sure. But now people know how good Cutter is. So we're looking at things like main deck of Braid, which is a card that's not seen playing standard for a long time. And other elements to deal with Steel Cutters in the main deck. Also possibly sideboards. And so we have what looks to be a Grixis bounce deck. Siren, Isolation, Cutter. Pretty interesting. We draw Storm Chaser's Talent. Interesting. So we can Talent Floodmaw their Cutter and have a Cutter and then attack, and if they block, we can Rage. I think I like that. We want to trigger Cutter. Basically, your goal with Cutter is to trigger it every single turn. That is your modus operandi for all you nerds out there. And we got a Prowess here. We're gonna Flood Maw a token. It's not a great use of Flood Maw, but it's just what the card does in this deck. We have stock up to reload anyway, so the card disadvantage we're going to lose on this bounce spell. We're gonna gain back, and now we're gonna attack. If they don't block, are we gonna Rage anyway? I don't think so. I think we can just do damage now. And next turn we can go stock up Rage. Not sure. It might honestly have just fired off there. It was worth 2, 4, it was worth 5 damage. That's a lot. But I do think that Cutter shouldn't give Trample. I think the Cutter, I think Haste and +1 is cool. I think Trample's a little too much. I think the card would still be very, very good without the Trample. And it would be a little more, you know, when you're thinking about designing Magic cards, the goal is always to kind of like, you know, get down to like the mean a little bit, you know, to have fewer outliers. As it stands, Cutter's obviously one of the better cards in the format right now. And if it was a little bit worse, it would still be pretty good. So here's Siren again. And we're definitely, you know, when both players have Cutter, you're kind of racing. We were on the play here. We have Monstrous Rage. They're mapping. And they're going to go for map. And they're going to show us a Malcolm Alluring Scoundrel. Interesting. It's an interesting take here on whatever version of Bounce Cutter they're playing. They are pretty high mythic, so not super high. I mean, they're not in the shitter numbers. They're almost at the numbers. And we got 3 cards in hand for them. A map. We can use Rage defensively also if we have to, you know, save our stuff. But mostly I think we're trying to cast Stock Up a Rage next turn. And they're going to this down, ain't big enough, and they're going to bounce our Otter and bounce their Spyglass Siren. I think that's fine. So they get to Cutter. But again, we are definitely on the offensive here. We're winning this race, right? Like they attack for what here? 2? Nothing. So untap. Draw Mountain. So we are going to cast Stock Up. Prowess away. We see another Monstrous Rage and a Sleight of Hand. I think Talent's not necessary here. And take those. And we are going to play a land. I guess I have to Rage to get the Cutter token. I might just attack, actually. Yeah, we should attack. A little weird. Definitely, I haven't played this card a lot yet, honestly. Sequencing-wise, it's kind of strange. It really wants you to play proactive stuff. Raging pre-attacks just, like, makes a 2/2 that's going to get blocked by their Fear of Isolation. So, like, I think it's just fine. And we're going to lose out on a point of damage from the token itself, but I think it's totally reasonable. If we had Burst Lightning, it probably would have killed the 2/2, so this is pretty obviously Rage here, but they're going to double block the Monk. So if I cast Rage, we're going to have a 5 toughness creature that would still die to both of these. Whereas I can just Rage the Swiftspear and kill the Fear of Isolation and do, yeah, something like that. So let's go Rage on the Swiftspear. We'll just trade the token for the Isolation. And we are going to not attach the Steel Cutter. You don't have to do it. So the 4/4 here, we're going to kill that. We get a bunch of damage. We also have our Swiftspear now. It currently has 3 toughness in a world of shocks where everyone's playing Burst Lightning. You know, it's pretty good. I guess they're playing black. They could, in theory, have like black removal, but they could have Torch. But Torch is not really main deck card, so. And now next turn we just have multiple spells again. With Stock Up and the Talent. Talent's a really sweet card. Talent is the card that really gives you a lot of inevitability, where these decks usually lack that kind of thing. Here's Siren again, and like bouncing their own stuff is certainly, you know, put them kind of on the back foot here. They play a Malcolm. So they're playing multiple Malcolms in their deck, which is a little weird. And we are just going to unload here. So, cast Sleight of Hand. We're playing Omniscience, yes. Another Cutter. Kind of awkward because obviously this Cutter won't trigger because it's already our second spell. But you can just like Sleight of Hand and look for a different spell. Sure. No reason to play the Cutter first because we don't get any value anyway. So put the Cutter there. We see Opt and Slick Shot show off. So you can show off and then Monstrous Rage. Yeah, that's pretty sick. All right, so let's go. Let's do that. Let's play a land. Let's play show off. Hey, can I get a Leroy, please? Opponent's spending a little too much time dirtling here. And they are dead. This is the spot where in paper you would just flash the Monstrous Rage and go to the next game. Can't do that here, unfortunately. They're going to block us if I don't have it because they have no other choice. And we do have it.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and that's game 1. So, honestly, I think this game is pretty indicative of what the bounce decks look like against this deck. Unless they have things like Nowhere to Run. Like, if they have bounced Nowhere to Run 3 times rather than for their Spyglass Siren, different story. But, so they are looks to be Grixis bounce. So maybe Dimir bounce with steel cutters. What does that make us want to do with our sideboarding here? I don't love Into the Floodmaw. If they're Grixis, they probably have ways to kill Nemesis. I kind of like the Lynx, actually. They're gonna have a lot of lands. I want the Abrade. I don't like Spell Pierce either. Now that draw Spell Pierce is like kind of cute. You like, maybe could tag a Cutter or something like that, but it's so like so sketchy. Barrage. They could have Kaido in their deck. We're not sure. Torch Tower, Pyroclasm. I don't like Lynx on the draw. I don't think. I think they are like potentially gonna be able to attack us a bit, and we are playing on a lot of non-basics. So let's bring like the Barrage and maybe a Frenzy. I don't know. Burst Lightning. Torch the Tower is mostly a shock in our deck. Let's bring in the Frenzy. Let's try this. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure what their deck looks like exactly, so it's kind of hard to say, you know, but... Oh, boy. Not keeping many 5-liners with this deck, so we're going to mulligan. And sure. Sounds cool. So we'll ship an island here. We've got a much slower hand. We're going to plot. Plotting's sweet, though. Honestly, plotting, the ability to plot and, like, play around removal and, like, really threaten is kind of sweet. Burst Lightning. Do I want this? I don't think so. I'm gonna ship it. We're just gonna plot and then plot again. Like we could like Burst Lightning on 3 maybe, but like they might not play a killable thing. They play an Overlord.
Spawn more Overlords.
Overlord can't return Steel Cutter. Sorry about that, whammy. And then we are going to, we're going to plot. We want to set up for a big turn, especially with 2 show-offs. Set up for a big turn where we can overload their removal. If we just like attack for 1, then just untap, kill it, and that sucks for us. They're surely playing nowhere to run. So, all right, here we go. Overlord again. This one hits a Malcolm in the Middle or a Kaido. And so far, deck construction-wise, their deck is looking a little sketchy here. Not doing a whole lot. We draw a Steel Cutter. That changes the math a little bit. Yeah, their best creatures are Cutter and Talent. It's kind of funny. All right. We're definitely casting Cutter. Are we casting Slick Shot Show Off or not? That has to be the spell after Cutter, obviously. Then I could opt and get him for 3, exposing the show off. I think I want to wait on the show. So I can go double show off next turn and then double spell. So I'm just going to go Cutter. And now we're going to sleight of hand. Just get our guy. And again, setting up for a big show off turn. Kind of want to land here, actually. Opt could find land too, but... Barrage or Mountain? Barrage does take care of Kaido. All right, I'll take the Barrage. Or possibly a Flying Blocker too, so... We're going to leave Slick Shot in the zone. We're missing out on some damage here, but... I'm not sure. I think plotting Show Off and knowing when to plot it, play it, etc. is pretty challenging. And, I don't know if we're right or not, but... Here's Grim Bauble. All right, well, look at us. Now I feel like a genius. Very, very smart. All right, sick. So play Fear of Isolation, and we are going to have a banger turn this turn if we can find a land. Frenzy. All right, so we're going to show off. The problem is we actually like ruin you to find a land. They do have a 1 mana up. They have Bauble in their hand, but... So we want to cast Show Off, then cast Opt, and find a land for Barrage. Right, I'm a little scared about missing a land drop here, but it's still a lot of damage, so... Alright, put the Cutter on. Opt, we really want to hit a red land here. A blue land would still be okay, but a red land, please. I could just attack in Frenzy. That's so much worse, though. I'm just going for it. We did take the barrage. Maybe that was wrong. They get an island. We're going to attack. First, trade for one show off. They murder another show off, but we still have another show off in our hand. It's fine. Obviously, the thing about this deck is that, like, when you look at the cards cori-steel cutter and slickshot show off, like, they both do similar things in a similar space, right? They're both hasted prowess threats. Whale of the Forgotten. They have Descend. They have Descend. So they bounce a thing, I discard a card, and they impulse. Sure. But they both do very similar things. They're hasted aggressive prowess threats. But they are on complete opposite side of the spectrums when it comes to speed versus durability, right? Whereas Slickshot Show Off is the ultimate, like, kill you fast, punk you out, get blown out by a removal spell card. Whereas Cutter's the exact opposite. It's the grindiest, most awesome long game card available too. And the fact that the deck's able to use both of those together is like really, really cool. Alright, so they whale, they impulse for a card. They get to bobble my show off now. So maybe our greed hurting us here. We were pretty greedy with that opt for it. We could just take in the land, but whatever. Alright, do this. Cast opt. Get Cutter going. Find the land. We're gonna keep that. Play land. For attack. I'm gonna cast Monster's Rage here. I don't think they have a spell. And it puts it out of bobble range if they have bounce stuff, so. Yeah. Risky, but smell blood in the water, you know? I don't think they're gonna have, given their deck construction, they could have had a this town, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe it was risky, but whatever. They're one. We're gonna win. Game's over. Yeah, Overlord of the Bellmark and Kaido Bane of Nightmares, not particularly good against this deck. They're going to Whale the Forgotten again. They get the last card in my hand, and they bounce my token, and they impulse. So they can find our removal spell for show off. We have 4 Burst Lightning in our deck, right? We do. We have 3 Burst Lightning left. Corey decks are cringe. Why is that? Whale of the Forgotten. There's some brewski here. Alright. What do you got, friend? And of course, the cool thing about this deck is, what makes this a really good cori-steel cutter deck is, our deck has so many cantrips in it that you're very, very likely to just get into a spell and cast Cutter off nothing, you know? Whereas in a mono red deck, Cutter would be okay, but not great. Alright, so they have an Overlord. They're 1. So we can just equip the Cutter here, attack, they have to block. Yeah, we have Pump too, they're just dead, so. Well, the thing is that cori-steel cutter is not actually just like a pure aggro card. It's also like a really cool grindy card too. So that's why it's pretty sweet. But all right, cool. So pretty easy one there. Opponent's deck was interesting, doing some cool stuff, but ultimately it didn't work out. All right, on the play. What are we, control deck now?
Somebody's playing a prank on me.
I am doing commentary at the RC. Really hard to mulligan a 3-land 4-spell hand. But if these Burst Lightnings aren't good, this hand is like just total stains. I'm kind of torn up about stock up in this deck. Some lists are playing Ren's Resolve instead. This is faster. The experience that I've had playing against this deck, so when they cast stock up on turn 3, I pump the fist. But what do we think here? We can keep mulligan. I don't really know, honestly. Like, the deck has 16 threats, 8 cantrips, sleight of hand. So the odds of drawing, it's 8, 16, 32, 40. It's 48% to draw one of those. I'm gonna keep. Let's see how it pans out. You know, the format's pretty aggressive. The removal spell should be good. Like, if they play a 1-drop here and we burst lightning it, I'm ecstatic. Like, I would keep this against mono red or the mirror, you know? Perfect. So I think it's worked out pretty well for us. So I can definitely buy this being a mulligan, but yeah. And the thing is that it is interesting that the RC is open decklist, which does change the dynamics a lot, where you just know what your opponent's playing, obviously. Here's a cutter, sure. I'm trying to have braid in my hand, you know? Right, so we're going to stock up. Obviously not the best turn 3 for us, but we're going to find a Slick Shot and a Swift Spear. So you can go for a big jam next turn, or you can go for a Swift Spear, stock up. This is definitely a deck that, oh man, that can produce some pretty explosive turns. Alright, so double cutter for them. So we got, you know, cutter's the kind of card where it's like Bitter Blossom-esque, where how many cutters do you have, how many cutters do I have, and that dictates how the game plays out. So we can go Swift Spear, show off, Burst Lightning one of these. That would be some damage, not like a ton though. Swift Spear stock up is probably like try and set up for a huge turn next turn. I think Burst Lightning, one of these tokens, is pretty bad. They have 3 cards. They're probably just dead this game, honestly. Double Cutter, obviously great. Their draw was quite good. If I go Swift Spear, Burst Lightning 1, I could plot to show off rather than expose it. Definitely a hard deck to play. A lot of decisions. Oh no, when all your cards cost 1 mana and 2 mana, you have a bajillion permutations and options. I think I like this. I like Swift Spear. Just gonna kill one of their things and attack, and then plot. Would Brotherhead's MB a sideboard card? Well, like, yeah, we're also playing Cutter, so destroy our own stuff too. Braid is a card that's seeing a lot of play now. Few frisky folks are playing Dreadmaw's Ire. It's 1/1, 1 mana +2/+2 instant to an attacker and trample. I mean, that creature deals damage to a player, shatter something. But it's only on offense. It's a pretty sketchy card. A Braid is the simple, clean answer. All right, go to 7. Talent. So I think we need to win the game like this turn. If it's even possible. I don't know if it's possible, honestly. Require a second show off. Stock up's just too slow. If you stock up, you only play 2 more spells. We can't really beat the board either. Yeah, we just gotta have like the sickest run up of all time here, I think. Let's opt. That's a land. Sleight of hand. Yeah, I don't think we can win here. Monstrous Rage. Yeah, Talent Rage is just nowhere near 17. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 12 damage. It's not like that far off, but like we could have maybe held the Swift Spear and got like this is a deck that really wants to look for the big burst damage turn. So maybe that was wrong. Obviously, the handicap was kind of sketchy. Their draw was effectively perfect, which happens. You know, could we mulligan? Maybe. Would it have mattered? Not sure. But so we're gonna bring in a Braid. Nemesis is interesting. It's very hard to deal with, but like I don't know if the game will be about that. I'm gonna cut the Spell Pierce. Is Spell Pierce good? I don't know. Being lean's pretty important, you know. Maybe you don't want these. Maybe you do want Spell Pierces. The Flood Maws are kind of bad. Do we want some amount of torches? I don't know, honestly. It does seem like speed is a pretty big factor. Speed and cutters. So we have a Braid, 2 pierces, trying to win the cutter battle. Like, is Nemesis better than stock up? I don't think we have both. It's just too many cards. Drake Hatcher is cool. I like that card. Opt. We're gonna try this, and I have low confidence that it's correct on the play. Oh my god, man, come on. Ugh. Awful hand city here. We got to mulligan this. If we had a cantrip, I would keep. If we had a sleight of hand or an opt, but we can't keep pain land one lander with no card draw. So, gonna mulligan. We find a cutter. Cool. We're on the play. I mean, we have turn 2 cutter, but nothing else to go with it, which kind of sucks. I think it's the rage. I don't love it, but we're going to sleight a hand on one. Sleight of hand, Suspire, or Talent. All very interesting. A lot of tough choices here. We're going to play Cutter on 2, I guess. Talent is probably worse than Suspire because we have not enough land to activate it, so sure. It's pretty scary where, like, if we play Cutter and they abrade it, we probably just can't win. But I can't... It's hard to see not playing Cutter. Now that we've drawn... Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's go Suspire Burst Lightning. Now we've drawn... this is red, right? Yeah, now that we've drawn another land. We can guarantee Cutter plus Op next turn. This kills their threat. We make sure we get at least 1 Cutter activation. Not a bad tempo play. Pretty happy with this. So, cool. Next turn we have Cutter plus Opt. They're going to plot a show off, sure. We draw another Verge. Okay, so you got Cutter Opt. And we're going to attach this. Sleight of hand on top, sure. Take sleight of hand. Alright, get in. It's a nice chunk for 5. Obviously, the slick shot's a little scary, but we currently have the initiative, so... Thundering Falls. Hit a land. One thing about this deck is the mana base is a little sketchy. Alright, so double show off. So they're threatening lethal next turn, which is scary. We draw another land, which is not good. And we find... Oh my god. This is why you don't want reactive cards in your prowess deck. Very similar to Izzet Phoenix, where like you just don't want your third spell to be a spell pierce and you can't bring your Phoenixes back. Obviously drawing land here pretty bad also. We're probably just dead here. We mulligan, we drew 5 lands, and we bricked on our sleight of hand. All very poor things to happen to us. I think maybe the Cutter should have moved, actually. Might as well defend 1 creature against a Burst Lightning, but yikes. Alright, so double show off, 5 cards in hand. Very good chance we're dead here. Sleight of hand to start. So brutal. Might not want Spell Pierce in. It might be wrong. Honestly, I'm not sure. I have not played this mirror match very much, so...
Give me what I want! That's not what I want! Give me what I want!
Alright, friend. What are we doing here? A Braid? We get a Spell Pierce and a Braid. The problem is, like, now there's 10 power here with a Monstrous Rage. It's 14. It's 17 damage with Monstrous Rage. So sure, whatever. Let's Spell Pierce this. They're at 8. So we could, you know, draw stock up in a spell and kill them next turn. So, alright. Keep our Cutter around. If their last card's Monstrous Rage, we're still alive. It's not. So we take 14. Obviously, Slick Shot Show Off, like I was saying, is a very one-dimensional card, where it's just like, it's attack, big burst, it's axe only, basically. What's up, Donatella? Appreciate that. So, really want to draw any spell that produces another card. So, we were looking to draw Sleight of Hand, Opt, Stock Up. Honestly, even an Otter Saga would be fine here. Just play it, return a spell. So we have a lot of outs here. Honestly, just Burst Lightning kills them too. We have a lot of outs. Good amount of outs to kill them here. That was not one of them. That is 6 damage, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, we drew pretty bad this match. Could have made mulligan in game 1, but is what it is. But, you know, them's the breaks. It happens. What are you going to do? Both games just kind of rough. All right. 74%. That is something. All right. Yeah, hands great keep. Mortuary. It's interesting where like Monstrous Rage is obviously a very good card. It's like a little weird in this deck where it's like it's really good when you're doing the burst damage thing. But it can be a little weird because we are pretty threat light. Like we only have 16 threats in the deck, you know. So I got Mortuary and Hedge Maze. And they say go. Alright, and we draw a second Suspire. I think I would like to not expose the cutter yet. Just go Suspire to opt. Alright, so nice chunk of damage here. I do love me a Prowess deck. It's a lot of fun just casting counters and trigger and stuff, you know? Alright, coming in. Not sure what they're doing over there. They have a cut down? Caustic X. Oh, they're the dragon deck, sure. So this is like the Sultai dragon control deck. All the dragon spells, etc., etc. So they could have a counter spell here. That would kind of suck if they have the counter. We're not going to play around it, but let's play cutter. Yeah, there's no consensus on how to build this deck. With rage, without rage, with stock up, without stock up, with slick shot show off, without slick shot show off. Huge amount of dissension among the how the deck should be built. Oh my god, man, their hand's perfect. All right, sure. That's pretty sick start. A lot of exhaling. Say go. And this is a spot where Monstrous Rage looks kind of shitty, right? Where like we only have 16 threats. I mean, if they just kill them, like. It's like, all right, I guess you killed my threats. I just have stuck with Monster Rage in my hand, you know? So, all right, so we do that. We're going to attack. We'll rage. They're not going to. All right, we're going to rage now. Just while we're tapped out, get some damage in. And, yeah, just say take 6, your turn. Bolt Wave. Bolt Wave is, I think, a little too far on the aggressive end of the spectrum. I don't think I would play Bolt Wave, but each non-dragon gets -X/-X. We can just rage here and save both of our creatures. That's awesome.
Bingo! All right. So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Sorry about that, whammy. Unfortunately, we draw a brick. So, man, I really want to activate the talent, honestly. I'm going to attack. They're probably going to block, else Burst Lightning them, which kind of sucks, but I would really like to just activate talent this turn, but I can't not attack, so. Alright, sure. So, Burst Lightning you, not exactly the most enthralling play, but we get in for some damage, trade with their Sorok. Play lands, they go, and now we have talent activations to get us back into this game a little bit when it comes to card advantage. They're going to main phase Coil and Catch.
It's a sign. It's an omen.
It's a coincidence, Dad.
Card's great. Huge fan of this card. I think Coil and Catch would almost be playable by itself, and putting an extra thing on top of it's fantastic. They discard an extra exhale. We draw land, and they're just dead, right? So we get to level up and get the rage back and do the thing.
Game.
5 mana Monstrous Rage. Still, oh, it's only. I'm sorry, it's only 5. I lied. Maybe we just have Burst Lightning next turn, but 5 mana Monstrous Rage still pretty good. How do I always seem to run to the Sultai Dragons deck despite it having barely any representation in the format? It is like, there's like 2 days left on the ladder. So I think most folks are just playing whatever the hell they want. They're already a Mythic and they're just playing silly brews and stuff, so. Corroding Dragonstorm. That card's not very good.
Still a piece of garbage.
Sure, it is going to save them this turn, but. Alright, so. I guess we're going to return an opt and just cast it. We can return Burst Lightning, but if they have a counterspell or a way to bounce it or something like that, then they gain more life. It's pretty bad for us. So I'm just going to return opt. I could even actually, you know what? It might have been right to level the other one to level 3, actually. But, whatever. Freaking allergies. Oh, yeah, stock up. Let's go. Next turn. The deck's cool. It's a pretty cool deck. You know, I think Surrock main deck's a little weird, but we draw Spell Pierce. Sure. So let's stock up. Do they have Dragon Counterspell? They do.
Get off my plane.
I do love me a good Spell Pierce, folks. I really cannot deny it. My love for Spell Pierce. Let's take Suspire and another stock up. They're going to play with Dragon and gain some life. It's a pretty sweet card here. Bloom Vine Regent. So they cast that, they gain the life, they bounce their Dragonstorm. And we're definitely getting into a longer game here. They're going to attack them into attack position. We draw Burst Lightning. So let's cast Stock Up. And into the Floodmaw. Suspire, Burst Lightning. Bouncing Bloom Vine, not so good. I should what the Surrock can play. Steel Cutter, Burst Lightning. Monstrous Rage. That's pretty good. I can't do all of them. I can do Steel Cutter and then Monstrous Rage. Steel Cutter is a Steel Cutter 4/5. Yeah, that's good. So let's do Cutter, Monstrous Rage. And we'll play Cutter. Oh, it was Rage and Floodmaw lethal. It might have been, yeah. Whatever, sure. Still in good shape here. My bad.
Oh, whoops. Whoopsie.
With the burst lightning too, yeah. My bad. Whatever. Kill your thing. Deal a little bit of damage. You go to 5. If we lose this game, I'll take full responsibility. Right, Karn? They play another Regent? Sure. So, we do want to draw a spell pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. We draw a spell. It's a good one. All right, opt. Burst Lightning. So, Burst Lightning them for 4. Our attacks actually aren't great. Thanks for coming to work for 2 minutes, Karn. Appreciate that. Just nug them in the face, make a token and say go, and just do it again next turn, I guess. Let's trample. Kind of a weird spot, honestly. Like, they're gaining 2 life next turn no matter what. We're losing 2 life. I think we just burst lightning them and say go. It's like kind of weird, you know, but like no attacks. Say go. It's funny if they were to like draw a second Dragonstorm, it would kill us if they could attack if we don't block. But like, you know, so Dragonstorm again. They top both cards. And they play Scavenger Regent. So bounce the thing, gain 3 life. And we're having a little trouble closing this game out. We draw another land. This game's kind of been embarrassing. I mean, obviously we had the kill. We just punted and just didn't do it. So it's obviously my fault. But we're effectively at 8. And they have 8 damage in the air. We're just dead. Yeah, like... This is ward, discard a card. They would also draw a card, too. I think this card's pretty bad. It's not very good. We burst lightning the Regent. They draw a card. We discard a card. And we don't really do anything else. It's pretty bad, honestly. Yeah, we just punted this game. I'm pretty salty about it now. All right, let's just kill this stupid dragon. And be super sad about it. Prowess ward. I actually probably should have done this on their turn because of the prowess too. Hi, I'm Jim. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, that's really bad. I should have done that on their turn, too. Sloppy game. Sloppy game. Maybe they also would have committed to attack. We could have killed him in the backswing, too, but... Here's Dragonstorm again. Yeah. And Stormbrood. Alright. Yeah. Alright. Well, this one's on me, folks. I punted, and I allowed them to get back into the game when they shouldn't have been able to do so. Sleight of hand. We deserve that, alright? That's totally fine. We deserve that one.
I suppose you think that was terribly clever.
Alright, so we're going to bring in our Sunspine Lynxes. Let's see. Spell Pierces. We're going to cut some Burst Lightnings. Into the Flood Maw is, like, kind of weird, where it's like, I don't really want to bounce through things, but, like, it's not a bad way to push damage and just kill them. Screaming Nemesis is kind of sketchy. Yeah. This is fine. I was arrogant, overconfident, and deserve to lose. Nemesis would never be dealt damage. They would just kill it with non-damage spells. So, hand's good. Interesting of how I want to... we're going to keep. How do I want to play this hand? Turn 1 Zispear is not doing very much. We could just, like, Thundering Falls, plot on turn 2, and then set up for a huge burst damage turn. I think I like that. Falls sees a land. Ship that one. No more lands, please. Play Jungle Hollow. Fantastic. Here's a sleight of hand. Yeah, just plop the show off. Big fan of the old slick shot. They're going to duress me. Alright, well now we're just going to Suspire, sleight of hand, show off. Let's draw a Steel Cutter, please. Off the top. Very rude duress. Draw land. Fantastic. Alright, I mean, I'm not like thrilled about this, but I'll be playing Omniscience today, yes. Nothing like having 3 lands in your hand, you know? Now you find the cutter, great. Well, Rage ain't lethal, so we're taking the cutter. And... attack. Darth says, when Slickshot was previewed, lots of people thought it would be the best red creature of the format. I think that held up over time. No, it's very, very powerful, but it's too fragile. And Standard is too much of a removal dense format, where there's just so much removal in this format. That's like, you know, just a card that is very fragile and all in. Man, they've drawn a lot of Caustic Exhales. Alright. Sure. Let me draw Spell Pierce again. No!
Waka waka.
This is really embarrassing. Alright, sure. We're just gonna hold it. Yeah, the toughness is the huge issue in that card. Here's Surok. You draw an op. The problem is they just have a disenchant in their hand for the Steel Cutter. You can't stop at Spell Pierce. I think bringing in Spell Pierce was really bad, actually. Alright, I'm playing 6 decks today. Talent. Alright, that's not bad. Alright, play land. Play talent. Attack. Alright. We can return stock up. It's fine. They have land brewed to kill my Steel Cutter. They have a tap land. And a corroding Dragonstorm. You got it, friend. Yeah, bringing Spellbreakers was heinous. All of their expensive cards are creatures. That was very, very bad sideboarding on my part. Just pilot error, folks, you know? They top again? Who are these people? Who tops? Please cast. No, I'm not going to do it. We draw talent. Alright, so once again we can't double spell, which is really frustrating. I guess we could, like, talent sleight of hand and try and find a land. That's not bad, actually. Talent. Sleight of hand. 2 looks for a blue land. No! Alright, sure. That's fine. Go to 13. I cast the dragon thing and kill my steel cutter. We're going wide enough now where I feel like kind of okay, as long as I don't draw the stupid dragon wrath. Alright, so... They don't got much left. They did top, I guess, but... We just stock up. That's a bingo.
Bingo! All right.
Can't stock up. You find Sunspine Lynx, which currently does 6 damage to them. 4 to us, too, but... And then Monstrous Rage, another stock up or an opt. This is a pretty good Monstrous Rage turn, right? I think it's Rage Lynx. Wait, Talent and then Rage. Yeah, we're just cashing in. With the Lynx in our hand, we're just cashing in, so... So they go to 2, and Lynx kills them. They play... Yeah, this is just like a person who really loves Tarkir Dragonstorm, you know? They're playing all Tarkir Dragonstorm cards. So they're going to cast this, they get a copy of it, and it suspends the, They're going to do it again. Sure. You're dead. Cool. 3 matches with each deck, as usual. And, yeah. Alright. Can we kill them without the Lynx? Let me try and hide it for game 3. Sleight of hand reveals Spear. No, whatever. It's fine. Alright, Lynxia. Get out the game. And let's win game 3 here and not be embarrassed by this this budget dragon deck. Game 3, Spell Pierce is coming out. That was very bad sideboarding on my part. They have their own Spell Pierce too. Suspend 4 is like essentially an eternity. I think his card is unfortunately pretty bad. It's a cool card, but I think Nemesis is fine. Bringing in more threats is pretty reasonable. And then maybe 1 Witchstalker's Frenzy for the larger things, or Barrage. Burst Lightning's fine. Sure. Alright. Game 3. Hand is fine. Not great, but fine. And up now it's great. 1 drop's what we're looking for. Caustic Exhale is pretty sweet. 1 mana -2, -3 is pretty absurd. Here's an opt. And I'm gonna bottomless Monstrous Rage. We need lands. And like, Rage isn't very... I can see boarding out Rage against them, honestly. Alright, so you go. Could have maybe heard an argument there for burst lightning them, but... Sorry about the landscapers, folks. Alright, need to draw land here. Okay. We're going to attack. I think if they had Caustic Exhale, they would have bombed it already. There's no chance they have that. I think they have the the blue Exhale. I'm gonna say cast Monstrous Rage. If they have black Exhale here, I will tip my cap and concede the game. Like, there's just no way they have it. They would have cast it for sure. So, sure. Okay, so as predicted.
Poor predictable Bart.
So we get to arrest them and deal an extra point of prowess. It's fine. Our hand's full of 7 drops or whatever, so getting rid of a counter spell is not too bad. But you need to draw a freaking land here. Here's a Surok. You draw land, cool. And they got like the old Nemesis. They've shown they don't have exhale, and then they can't block it, so they'll take the damage, and it's a bad exchange for them. So 5 mana. They managed to actually draw 3 basics this game, which is kind of lame. But they have Stormbrood, sure. So shuffle that back in.
The omens are good.
Double Omen.
The omens are good.
A lot of basics, man. They had all non-basics game 1 and 2. All right. So, I mean, it does say they can't gain life, which is kind of important. So, I don't mind just playing the links here, actually. It lines up okay against Sirach. They can't gain life off casting the dragon they just omened. I think it's fine. Say go. We can Flood Moss Sirach and push damage. We can stock up. We have a lot of options here, too. We could also just buy back Monstrous Raid if we draw land. So, more forests. They also haven't shown that they have a way to kill this, right? All their kill spells have been the Exhales. And the -X dragon. That's pretty bad for us. So just choosing not to bounce the links. It's pretty weird. I think I would bounce the links there and just start attacking, right? Like, you got 10 power in play. What are you doing? Now they're just, like, almost dead. Sure. You can draw stock up. So, let's get stock up. We're probably going to bounce this Regent and just attack for a bunch. Wow. That is something. Alright. I guess Floodmaw and Scryland? Sure. Yeah, Lynx is only 2 damage. Just bounce that thing, you know? What are you doing? Now you're taking 5, you know? Like, draw a card, whatever. Alright. I mean, now you're at 4. Guess I can't complain, right? They're going to exhale to gain 3 life. Sure. Thundering Falls reveals a land. So they're at 7. They have the dragon. Will they bounce my stuff? Who knows? We're at 14. They've drawn an unbelievable amount of basic lands this game. Yeah, bouncing a 5-drop is just insane. Like, you know, like... And now they're just dead. Right? We just Flood Maw and then play another Lynx. Steel Cutter, Flood Maw is worse as casting Lynx. Yeah, just... Alright, sure. Alright. I'll bounce this thing. And I'll get in for 5. And I'll cast the Lynx. Thanks, Karn. Landscapers, Karn. Alright. I mean, that was a pretty ugly match on both sides, I think. Like, we punted game 1. Don't think they played very well in game 3, but whatever. Alright, so went 2-1. We lost the mirror. Obviously, deck's broken. Only loses to the mirror. I don't know what the best list of this deck is. I'm going to be fully honest. I think that's going to be an AI question that's going to be answered this weekend at the Regional Championship. Where last week was the breakout. There wasn't a ton of consensus. In top 8, there were decks playing Rage, decks not playing Rage. Some are playing Slick Shot, some aren't. Some are playing Stock Up, some aren't. Some are playing a little bigger. A lot of different ways to build the deck. So, going to be exciting to see. If you're going to the event, you must be able to beat this deck. If you want to win on a ladder, must be able to beat this deck. And playing it's also totally viable too. So, more to go on stream. You two folks love you. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.